Ghost of the Railway Station. Part 1. Whisperings in the Shadows. The old railway station stood as a forgotten relic amidst overgrown weeds and crumbling platforms. Rusty tracks stretched into the distance, disappearing into the dense forest that encroached upon the once bustling hub of locomotive activity. I had heard the rumors, the whispers of a ghost that haunted these abandoned grounds, a spectral figure condemned to wander the station in eternal unrest. As a seasoned paranormal investigator, I prided myself on my skepticism. Ghost stories were tales spun from fear and superstition, I believed, until that fateful night when I set foot on the deserted platform. Moonlight filtered through the canopy of leaves overhead, casting eerie shadows that danced along the weathered bricks of the station walls. A chill wind whispered through the empty corridors, carrying with it the faint echo of a distant whistle, a haunting reminder of the station's former life. I adjusted the straps of my backpack, flashlight in hand, and stepped cautiously onto the platform. My footsteps echoed hollowly, the sound swallowed by the silence that enveloped the station like a shroud. The air was thick with a sense of unease, a palpable tension that prickled at the nape of my neck. I had come armed with cameras and recording devices, determined to capture evidence of any paranormal activity that might linger in the shadows. But as I moved deeper into the station, my confidence waned with each creak of floorboards and flutter of moth-worn curtains. It was then that I saw him, a flicker of movement at the far end of the platform, a figure draped in a conductor's uniform. Its colors faded with age. My heart skipped a beat as I trained my flashlight on the apparition, half expecting it to vanish like smoke in the wind. But the ghostly figure remained, its form translucent yet unmistakably human. The conductor's gaze fixed upon me with a haunting intensity, eyes hollow and yet brimming with a silent plea. Who are you?" I managed to stammer, my voice barely above a whisper in the oppressive silence. The ghostly conductor made no reply, but his presence spoke volumes, an echo from the past, tethered to this forsaken station by unfinished business and unspoken regrets. I felt a chill crawl up my spine as I realized the truth. The conductor's spirit was trapped here, condemned to relive the horrors of a tragic past. I cautiously approached, my footsteps echoing loudly in the stillness. The conductor's gaze followed my every move, his spectral form flickering as if struggling to maintain cohesion in this realm between worlds. As I drew closer, a sudden gust of wind rattled the windows, sending dust swirling in spirals of spectral light. Shadows danced along the walls, their movements unnaturally fluid and hypnotic. The air grew thick with a sense of foreboding, a silent warning that resonated deep within my bones. And then, with a voice that echoed from beyond the veil of existence, the conductor spoke, a whisper carried on the wind, laden with sorrow and urgency. "Beware. Danger approaches," his voice echoed in my mind, a chilling resonance that sent shivers down my spine. "Leave this place, before it's too late." I staggered back, stunned by the spectral warning. The conductor's words reverberated in my thoughts, a dire premonition that hung heavy in the air. What danger lurked in the shadows of this abandoned station? And why had the conductor's spirit chosen to reveal itself to me, a mere mortal caught in the grip of forces beyond comprehension? As I stood frozen in indecision, a distant rumble echoed through the night, a sound that sent a jolt of adrenaline coursing through my veins. The ground beneath me trembled, the tracks quivering with an unseen force. And then, emerging from the darkness like a beast awakened from slumber, a phantom train materialized on the tracks, a spectral locomotive wreathed in ethereal mist, its headlights piercing the night with an otherworldly glow. I stared in horror as the ghostly train thundered towards the station, its wheels grinding against the tracks with a deafening roar. The air crackled with supernatural energy, a maelstrom of despair and malevolence that threatened to consume everything in its path. With a surge of primal instinct, I turned and ran, my footsteps pounding against the platform as I raced towards the exit. The wind howled around me, carrying with it the anguished cries of souls trapped in limbo. Behind me I could hear the ghostly conductor's voice, a faint whisper on the wind. "Run! Flee while you still can." I didn't dare to look back. Fear lent wings to my feet as I sprinted through the darkness, the station fading into the distance behind me. The echo of the phantom train's roar reverberated through the night, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurked within the shadows of the abandoned railway station. Part 2. Echoes of the Past. I fled from the haunted railway station, my heart pounding like a drumbeat in the silence of the night. The chilling warning of the ghostly conductor echoed in my mind, urging me to escape the imminent danger that lurked within those forsaken grounds. As I ran, the spectral train's unearthly roar pursued me like a relentless specter on my heels. The ground trembled beneath my feet, the air thick with the acrid scent of ozone and the palpable presence of malevolent energy. I dared not look back, fear propelling me forward through the labyrinthine shadows of the forest that bordered the abandoned station. Branches clawed at my clothes, snagging in my hair as if the very trees themselves sought to ensnare me in their grasp. The spectral train's headlights cast long, twisting shadows that danced ominously along the forest floor. Each step I took seemed to echo with the hollow rhythm of the train's wheels on the tracks, a relentless reminder of the danger that pursued me. I stumbled over roots and fallen branches, my breath ragged in my chest, as I fought to put as much distance as possible between myself and the cursed station. The wind moaned through the trees, carrying with it the mournful cries of lost souls, an eerie chorus that chilled me to the bone. And then, just as despair threatened to overwhelm me, I burst through the dense foliage and stumbled into a clearing bathed in moonlight. Gasping for breath, I collapsed against the gnarled trunk of an ancient oak, my chest heaving with exertion and fear. I dared to steal a glance back towards the direction from which I had come. The forest stood silent and still, the haunting echoes of the spectral train fading into the night. But the memory of the ghostly conductor's warning lingered, a grim testament to the horrors I had witnessed. Hours passed in a haze of exhaustion and adrenaline. The moon traversed the night sky, casting shifting shadows that played tricks upon my weary mind. Eventually, as dawn painted the horizon with hues of gold and pink, I summoned the courage to rise to my feet and resume my journey. The abandoned railway station lay far behind me now, a distant memory cloaked in the mists of uncertainty. Yet, the events of that fateful night haunted my thoughts like a persistent specter, refusing to be dismissed as mere hallucination or fevered dream. I sought refuge in a nearby town, seeking solace in the bustling streets and the reassuring presence of fellow travelers. But even amidst the comforting din of everyday life, I could not shake the feeling that something had changed within me, a realization that the world was far stranger and more perilous than I had ever dared to imagine. Whispers of the haunted railway station persisted among the locals, a cautionary tale passed down through generations, a warning to steer clear of those forsaken grounds after nightfall. Some spoke of a conductor who had perished in a tragic accident, his restless spirit condemned to wander the station in search of redemption. I listened to these stories with a mixture of fascination and dread, haunted by the memory of the ghostly figure that had appeared before me. What had the conductor sought to warn me about? And what unseen forces had compelled his spirit to reach out across the divide between life and death? As days turned into weeks, I wrestled with these questions, haunted by the lingering echoes of that harrowing night. The town's residents regarded me with a mixture of pity and suspicion, sensing perhaps that I carried with me a burden of knowledge that defied explanation. And then, one evening as I sat alone in a dimly lit tavern, nursing a mug of ale that offered little solace, a stranger approached me, a weathered traveler with eyes that gleamed with a knowing glint. "You've seen it, haven't you?" the stranger murmured, their voice low and conspiratorial. "The ghost of the railway station." I tensed, my heart quickening in my chest. "What do you know about it?" I asked, unable to suppress the urgency in my voice. The stranger leaned closer, their breath mingling with the smoky air. "The conductor's spirit wanders those tracks for a reason," they whispered, eyes darting furtively around the tavern as if afraid of being overheard. "There's more to that station than meets the eye, a darkness that hungers for souls." I listened intently, my mind racing with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. The stranger's words resonated with the eerie warning that had echoed in my mind during my flight from the station. Could it be that the spectral train and the ghostly conductor were harbingers of a malevolent force lurking within those forsaken grounds? Before I could press the stranger for more details, a commotion erupted outside the tavern, a cacophony of shouts and hurried footsteps that shattered the tense atmosphere like a thunderclap. I exchanged a wary glance with the stranger before we both moved as one towards the tavern door, driven by a shared instinct to uncover the truth that eluded us. Outside, the townspeople had gathered in a frenzied mob, their faces contorted with fear and disbelief. I pushed through the crowd, my pulse quickening as I caught sight of the source of their terror, a sight that sent a chill down my spine and confirmed the darkest suspicions that had taken root within my troubled mind. Part 3. Unveiling the Darkness. The townspeople clustered around the edge of the clearing, their voices rising in a tumultuous chorus of fear and disbelief. I pushed through the crowd, my heart pounding in my chest as I beheld the source of their terror, a sight that confirmed the darkest suspicions lingering in my troubled mind. Before us stood the remnants of the abandoned railway station, bathed in the fading light of dusk. Smoke billowed from the shattered windows, tendrils curling skyward like ghostly fingers reaching for the heavens. The air was thick with the acrid scent of burning wood and the unmistakable stench of something far more sinister. A chill wind swept through the clearing, carrying with it the faint echo of distant whistles, a haunting reminder of the spectral train that had thundered through the station on that fateful night. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I surveyed the scene before me, the sense of impending dread hanging heavy in the air. "What happened here?" I asked aloud, my voice barely above a whisper. The townspeople exchanged anxious glances, their expressions grim and haunted. "It came in the night," an elderly woman murmured, her voice trembling with fear. "A darkness unlike anything we've ever seen. The station, it's cursed." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, each person recounting tales of strange occurrences and inexplicable phenomena that had plagued the station for as long as anyone could remember. Some spoke of eerie lights flickering in the windows late at night, while others whispered of disembodied voices that carried on the wind, a chorus of lamentation that chilled the soul. But amidst the cacophony of fear and speculation, one story stood out, a tale passed down through generations, a cautionary warning that now resonated with a chilling sense of truth. "The conductor!" a grizzled fisherman spoke up, his weathered face etched with lines of wisdom and sorrow. "He died in a terrible accident, they say, but his spirit wanders those tracks, warning of danger to all who dare approach." I listened intently, my mind racing with fragments of memories and half-formed theories. Could it be that the ghostly conductor's appearance to me had been a desperate plea for help, a warning of the darkness that now threatened to consume the forsaken station and all who ventured too close? As night descended upon the clearing, casting long shadows that danced along the charred remains of the station, a sense of urgency gripped my heart. The stranger from the tavern appeared at my side, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling mixture of determination and fear. "We must uncover the truth," the stranger whispered urgently, their voice barely audible above the murmurs of the crowd. "There's more to this curse than meets the eye. We must delve into the depths of the station and confront the darkness that lurks within." I hesitated, torn between the instinct to flee from the malevolent force that had already claimed the station and the desperate need to uncover the truth that lay hidden amidst the shadows. The spectral train's haunting roar echoed in my memory, a grim reminder of the perils that awaited anyone foolish enough to venture into its path. But as I gazed upon the faces of the townspeople, their eyes wide with fear and uncertainty, I knew that I could not turn away. The ghostly conductor's warning reverberated in my mind, a solemn vow to unravel the mystery that had ensnared the forsaken station in its malevolent grip. With a nod of grim determination, I turned to the stranger at my side. "We'll investigate," I declared, my voice steady despite the lingering tremor of fear in my heart. "But we must tread carefully. The darkness that haunts this place is unlike anything we've encountered before." The stranger's expression softened with gratitude, their eyes reflecting a glimmer of reluctant admiration. "Agreed," they murmured, their voice a whisper lost amidst the gathering shadows. "We'll uncover the truth, no matter the cost." Together we braved the remnants of the abandoned railway station, a labyrinth of charred corridors and crumbling brickwork that bore witness to the horrors that had unfolded within its walls. The air grew thick with a palpable sense of malevolence, a suffocating presence that seemed to press in from all sides. We ventured deeper into the heart of the station, our footsteps echoing hollowly against the scorched floorboards. Shadows flickered along the walls, their movements unnaturally fluid and hypnotic. The temperature plummeted, a bone-chilling cold that seeped into our very bones. And then, amidst the darkness and decay, we stumbled upon a discovery that froze the blood in our veins. A room bathed in an eerie blue light, its walls adorned with arcane symbols and sigils that pulsed with a malevolent energy. "What is this place?" I whispered, my voice barely audible above the low hum that reverberated through the chamber. The strangers shook their head in disbelief, their features drawn tight with apprehension. "It's a ritual chamber," they murmured, their voice tinged with horror. "A place of dark magic and unspeakable sacrifice." My heart sank as the realization dawned upon me. The abandoned railway station was not merely haunted by restless spirits and spectral trains. It had become a gateway to a realm of darkness and despair, a conduit through which malevolent forces sought to wreak havoc upon the unsuspecting world. But as we stood frozen in the chamber's chilling embrace, a sound pierced the silence, a whisper on the wind, faint yet unmistakable. "Beware, it's not over yet." Part 4. Unveiling the Malevolent Force. The whispered warning echoed through the ritual chamber, chilling me to the core. My senses were heightened, every nerve on edge as we stood amidst the eerie glow of arcane symbols that adorned the walls. The air seemed to thrum with a malevolent energy, a palpable presence that pressed in around us like a suffocating fog. "We have to find out what happened here," I urged, my voice tinged with urgency. The stranger nodded grimly, their expression mirroring my determination, despite the fear that flickered in their eyes. Together, we combed through the chamber, our flashlights casting long, shifting shadows that danced along the walls. Symbols of power and darkness leered at us from every corner, their meaning inscrutable yet undeniably ominous. As we ventured deeper into the heart of the abandoned station, the air grew colder, thick with the stench of decay and the lingering residue of dark magic. The remnants of forgotten rituals lay scattered amidst the debris, a testament to the malevolent forces that had once held sway within these cursed walls. "We're getting closer," the stranger murmured, their voice barely above a whisper. "But we must tread carefully. Whatever lurks in the shadows, it's watching." I nodded, my heart hammering in my chest as we pressed onward. Every step brought us closer to the heart of the mystery that had ensnared the forsaken station, a mystery that threatened to consume us both in its relentless pursuit of answers. And then, just as despair threatened to overwhelm us, we stumbled upon a chamber bathed in an unholy light, a focal point of the dark rituals that had stained the station with their malevolent presence. In the center of the chamber, an altar stood, a grotesque monument to suffering and sacrifice, its surface stained with dried blood and inscribed with runes of power. I recoiled in horror, my breath catching in my throat at the sight before me. The stranger's grip tightened on my arm, their voice trembling with a mixture of revulsion and disbelief. This is where they summoned it," they whispered, their words barely audible above the low hum that permeated the chamber. "The darkness that haunts this place, it was brought forth through these rites." Dread settled like a weight upon my shoulders as I beheld the altar, its presence a stark reminder of the malevolent forces that had been unleashed upon the world. The air crackled with supernatural energy, a maelstrom of despair and malevolence that threatened to engulf us both in its relentless grip. "We have to destroy it," I declared, my voice tinged with resolve despite the fear that gnawed at my insides. "We have to put an end to this, before it's too late." The stranger nodded in grim agreement, their features drawn tight with determination. Together, we set about dismantling the altar, erasing the symbols of power and darkness that adorned its surface with painstaking care. Each rune we defaced, sent a shiver through my soul, a grim testament to the evil that had been wrought within these forsaken walls. But as we worked, a sense of unease settled over me, a feeling that we were not alone in the chamber, that unseen eyes watched our every move with a malevolent intent. Shadows flickered along the walls, their movements unnaturally fluid and hypnotic. And then, just as we neared the final rune, a deafening roar shattered the silence, a sound that reverberated through the chamber like thunder on a stormy night. I turned, heart pounding in my chest, to behold a sight that chilled me to the core. A figure materialized amidst the swirling shadows, a grotesque apparition, its form a twisted amalgamation of flesh and bone, its eyes burning with an insatiable hunger. It loomed over us, a towering specter of malevolence that exuded a palpable aura of dread. The darkness. It has awakened, the stranger gasped, their voice a terrified whisper as they backed away from the altar. We've unleashed something beyond our control. I stood frozen in place, my mind racing with fragments of memories and half-formed theories. The spectral train, the ghostly conductor, the warnings that had haunted my dreams, they had all been harbingers of a darkness far greater than anything I could have imagined. With a surge of primal instinct, I raised my flashlight and aimed its beam at the creature before us, a futile gesture against the unstoppable force that now loomed over us like a specter of doom. Its eyes narrowed, a sinister smile curling its twisted lips as it advanced upon us with deliberate steps. We have to go, the stranger urged, their voice a desperate plea as they grabbed my arm and pulled me towards the chamber's exit. There's no time. It's too late. But as we fled from the ritual chamber, pursued by the malevolent force that had been unleashed upon the world, I knew that our ordeal had only just begun. The darkness that haunted the abandoned railway station was far more than a mere ghost story. It was a testament to the horrors that lurked within the shadows, waiting to claim unsuspecting souls in their relentless pursuit of vengeance. Part 5. Confronting the Malevolent Entity. The darkness pursued us through the labyrinthine corridors of the abandoned railway station, its presence a suffocating weight that pressed in around us like a vice. Shadows flickered along the walls, their movements unnaturally fluid and hypnotic, as if guided by some unseen, malevolent force. We can't outrun it, the stranger gasped, their voice tinged with desperation as we raced through the decaying corridors. We have to confront it, face to face. I nodded grimly, my heart hammering in my chest as we skidded around a corner and into the main hall of the station. The air was thick with a palpable sense of dread, a miasma of despair and malevolence that threatened to suffocate us both in its relentless grip. And then, amidst the swirling shadows and echoes of distant whispers, the malevolent entity materialized before us, a grotesque apparition, its form shifting and undulating like smoke in the wind. Its eyes burned with an insatiable hunger, a hunger that had driven it to unleash unspeakable horrors upon the world. I raised my flashlight, its beam wavering in the oppressive darkness, as I confronted the creature that had been summoned from the depths of the abyss. The stranger stood beside me, their gaze unwavering despite the fear that gripped us both in its relentless embrace. You should not have come here, the entity hissed, its voice a chilling echo that reverberated through the hall like a dirge. This place, it belongs to me. I clenched my jaw, summoning every ounce of courage that remained within me as I faced the malevolent entity. We're not afraid of you, I declared, my voice steady despite the terror that gnawed at my insides. You can't hold this station captive forever. We will stop you. The entity's eyes narrowed, its form flickering as if testing the limits of its spectral existence. You are but mortals, it sneered, its voice dripping with disdain. Your defiance is futile. With a surge of determination, I stepped forward, my hands trembling as I reached into my backpack and retrieved a small vial filled with shimmering liquid, a last resort against the darkness that threatened to consume us both. Take this, I said to the stranger, my voice urgent as I pressed the vial into their trembling hands. It's our only hope. The stranger nodded solemnly, their gaze meeting mine with a shared understanding of the sacrifice that lay before us. Together, we advanced upon the malevolent entity, our hearts pounding in unison as we prepared to confront the darkness head-on. But as we drew closer, a sudden flash of realization struck me. A memory, fleeting yet undeniable, of the ghostly conductor's warning. "The train," I murmured, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place with startling clarity. "The train. It's the key." The stranger's eyes widened in comprehension as they nodded in agreement. "The spectral train," they echoed, their voice a whisper lost amidst the swirling shadows. "It brought the darkness here, and only it can banish it." With a shared resolve, we turned and raced towards the station's platform, our footsteps echoing hollowly against the weathered boards. The malevolent entity pursued us with relentless determination, its form flickering in and out of existence as it sought to prevent our escape. But as we reached the edge of the platform, a distant whistle pierced the silence, a haunting echo that reverberated through the night like a beacon of hope. The spectral train materialized on the tracks before us, its headlights piercing the darkness with an otherworldly glow. "Quickly!" I shouted, my voice a desperate plea as we climbed aboard the ghostly locomotive. The stranger followed close behind, their expression a mixture of fear and determination as we prepared to confront the darkness that had haunted the abandoned station for far too long. The train surged forward, its wheels grinding against the tracks with a deafening roar. The air crackled with supernatural energy, a maelstrom of despair and malevolence that threatened to consume us both in its relentless embrace. And then, with a surge of primal instinct, I uncorked the vial and hurled its contents towards the malevolent entity. A burst of shimmering light that engulfed the creature in a blaze of radiant energy. The entity shrieked in agony, its form writhing and contorting as it struggled against the purifying force that sought to banish it back into the abyss. With a final desperate cry, the entity dissipated into the ether. A wisp of smoke carried away on the wind, leaving behind only the echoes of its malevolent presence. The spectral train thundered through the night, its headlights casting long shifting shadows that danced along the platform. As the train vanished into the distance, taking with it the darkness that had plagued the abandoned railway station, I turned to the stranger beside me. Exhaustion washed over me like a tidal wave, mingled with a profound sense of relief and disbelief. "We did it," I murmured, my voice barely above a whisper as I sank to my knees, the weight of our ordeal finally catching up with me. "We stopped it." The stranger nodded solemnly, their features etched with the remnants of fear and exhaustion. "For now," they replied, their voice tinged with a note of caution. "But the darkness, it's out there. We must remain vigilant." And so, as dawn painted the horizon with hues of gold and pink, we stood together on the platform of the abandoned railway station, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unspeakable horrors. The town's residents gathered around us, their expressions a mixture of awe and gratitude as they bore witness to the aftermath of the ordeal that had unfolded within their midst. But amidst the whispers of gratitude and relief, I knew that the memory of the haunted railway station would linger. A cautionary tale passed down through generations, a reminder of the darkness that lurked within the shadows and the courage it took to confront it. And as I gazed upon the sunlit horizon, a sense of hope stirred within me. A hope that, no matter how formidable the darkness, there would always be those willing to stand against it, armed with nothing more than courage, determination, and the unwavering belief that light would ultimately prevail over shadow.